Hi everybody, welcome to the dungeon. My name is Robin and today is Flameworking, Exploring Deep Twists. So last weekend while I was making something for this weekend, I was playing around with two double helix colors, the Triton and the Atlas. Just trying to see how, depending on how I would lay them down on the mandrel, how they would react with the twisting. And then I was thinking about the depth of the twist itself. So this is kind of the favorite one that I made last weekend. I'm glad to be able to share it with you all. And with that said, let's get right into it. As always, I hope you're all doing safe and well out there. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time in the dungeon. All right, so we're going to start this one out with a base of black. I feel like I always use a base of black, but it just really works great with the silver that we're going to put on top of it here in a minute. But I'm just going to start by coating my mandrel with this color and making sure that my mandrel is nice and hot where the color is, being applied to it. And that will help to alleviate any bubbles rising from the surface of your mandrel or the bead release. All right, and I just want to keep this first row of color nice and thin and rolling it out, making it nice and even, getting it right where I want it to be lengthwise and working on my edges. And then I'm going to lay down a bit of silver foil here. I do prefer the silver foil over silver leaf. It's just, I just like the thickness. So we're going to roll this up nice and thick. I'm using a half a sheet of silver here. You don't have to use that much, but I just want to make sure that it's nice and secure. So I just roll it on the graphite pad there a little bit. And then I'm going to apply my colors just in a spiral right next to each other on the bead. And in the final shots, I also did one where the Triton was on top of the spiral of double helix, and that looked amazing. And then I did one with two thin twisted stringers, and that looked pretty cool too. So you'll see those at the end. Okay, so I'm just adding the Triton on this one right in between. I just wanted to just explore and kind of see the differences in between each way of adding color. All right, so I just wanted to roll this out. And by the way, if you don't have the double helix colors, it's okay. I'm going to kind of move away from using these colors so much. I've just been trying to kind of figure them out, but I realize not everybody has them. But this looks great with your two favorite light and dark colors or an opaque and transparent color. It really looks great. So don't worry so much about if you don't have specific colors that I use. So I'm rolling this out and making sure those two colors butt up real nice against each other and everything is nice and smooth. And for this one, I do want to reduce it. So I'm kind of trying to reduce and thinking I am trying these colors again. And to me, that looks kind of like a good reduction. So I'm moving forward here. And I'm going to give this one a coating of clear before I do the twists. And there is one also at the end where the Triton is right on top of the double helix spiral. And I just twisted that up first and then put the clear on. So each one, even though I'm using the same colors, each one is a little different. Okay, so I'm coating this and I am making sure that I overlap each time and fill in any gaps that I need to make sure it's all coated in the clear. And then we'll go ahead and spend some time cleaning this up because it's a little sloppy this time. But even a sloppy bead can be cleaned up. I'm using a butter knife to help even the ends out. As long as you're not scraping that bead release off, the butter knife is a really handy tool. And then I'm just working those edges a little bit more A little at a time, a little at a time, smoothing it down and just getting right where I want things to be. All right, so we're just about ready to start our twists. That's what we have so far. I can see some stuff going on there, so I'm thinking at this point things are looking pretty good. And okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to spot heat and then plunge in with my cold stringer and give it like a 3-turn twist. And then as this stringer cools, at some point you'll feel it just kind of give and break when you wiggle it back and forth. Just make sure you're not pulling on the stringer, you're always pushing. Another thing, the stringer that I'm using is a pre-made stringer. This is a 2mm pre-made stringer, and it is great. I love it because it is nice and even all the way through, and it's a great thickness for an easy break when you're doing these twists. However, you should always know how to make your own stringers, just in case. So I'm just going above and in between the twists I already did, and I just really enjoyed watching the color twist up as you're doing your twist. It was just a lot of fun, so I kind of got obsessed, and did all of my beads with twists last week. Now when I go to do these heats here, I will spend a second every now and then to kind of warm up the whole bead real quick. It's not much, you're not taking a lot of time. You're just flashing the bead in the flame and then getting into your spot heat. All right, and this is our last one, and that's what we have so far. And I wanted to keep as much of the three-dimensionality as I could, but because I'm going to be swiping on a few more layers of clear, I wanted to just roll it out a little bit here and smooth those high edges down so I didn't trap a whole bunch of bubbles. I know I'm going to trap some bubbles, but I didn't want to completely, just have an issue swiping the clear on, basically. So this is what we have now, and you can see that reduction under there. It looks pretty good. All right, so we got 2 layers of clear that I want to add now. And the first one, I'm going to try to get fairly close to the top edge, swiping all the way down to the bottom edge. And depending on the shape of the bead, if it's tapered slightly, where I swipe, it might not be very even at the end of the swipe. So you might have an area where you need to fill in here or there. All right, back to heating things up and melting everything in and getting ready for the final coating. I've really been enjoying using these double helix colors, and but sometimes I think that the torch that I'm using, maybe I'm just having a hard time figuring out my flame setting, but I know that each torch type can be a little different with the glass, so who knows, but it's been a lot of fun playing with these colors lately. I've been having a good time. All right, so I'm just coming in here and smoothing out those edges. Turning the bead around kind of helps me to get to those different ends a little bit better. And that's what we have so far. I really love the way it looks when it's hot. I wish it would stay that way sometimes. Okay, so for this last round, I'm just going to do kind of the center only swipe and just go ahead and give it that final coating. And it's always the second coating of clear that starts to lift your pattern and kind of make the appearance of a three-dimensional design. It's always that second coating, so I like to put that on here. Plus, it makes it a nice, really kind of big, you know, cool looking pendant. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and spend a little time melting those edges in, rolling it on my marvering pad there just to smooth things down. When you're getting into a larger bead like this, it's a lot easier to do more marvering than just heating up the whole massive amount of glass and hoping, you know, that it's going to just round out. You really need to give it a little bit of help, and that makes everything a lot easier. So here at the end, I'm just going to finish by rounding it out a little bit more in the center, and we'll be done. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me explore a little bit with these colors and with the twists. And I hope to see you next time in the dungeon.